Hello, welcome. My name is Amanda. I'm a certified life coach, and I want to welcome you to Blueprint to Love. So today we're going to be talking about the 5 steps to really develop a healthy boundary, find your ideal mate. We had a broadcast earlier today, which unfortunately did not record. So I'm setting this up for the recorded version. And let's jump right in. So basically, what I've noticed as a coach is that when I speak to my clients on a regular basis, I notice a few common things when it comes to relationships. People are unhappy with themselves when it comes to dating, unhappy with choices that they've made in partners, feeling a lot of regret, feel that they lost a lot of time in the wrong relationships, and wasted a lot of time looking for the right one. They kept making the same choices regardless of the pain that it caused, but beneath it all, they just wanted to be happy. So I put together this webinar to really try to touch in each of those areas. Take a moment and think to yourself, what has been the greatest challenge that you've faced in dating? And why do you think that it hasn't changed? So you came to this webinar for a reason. Maybe you're divorced, maybe you're separated, maybe you haven't found love yet, maybe you had love but it disappointed you. There's so many reasons why you might be here today, but what I want to do is go ahead and take some time to acknowledge them and spend some time thinking about yourself personally and what has been your challenge in the relationship so far that you've experienced. Today we're going to break down some steps towards breaking this pattern and finding love. We're going to start out by changing your mindset. The first step is making peace with your past. If you're living in your past and you're holding on to a situation that has taken place that was negative or possibly disappointing, and you're holding on to that, you're not able to move forward. So as long as you're living in the past, you can't live in the present. Spend time with yourself to know who you are. If you don't know who you are and what you stand for, then chances are that others don't know either. So it's important to be able to identify who you are, your values, and what's important to you. Identify the pain from your past and work on letting go. This goes again with making peace with your past. If you're holding on to the pain that in the past and what it's caused for you, you're not going to be able to bring all of yourself into another relationship. So it's time to let go and make peace with that. So maybe you came from a past of an abusive relationship and never dealt with it, only leading you to repeat the cycle, possibly sabotaging a good relationship or living in fear. What's important is that you acknowledge the situation that transpired and make peace with it. Maybe it's not something that you're able to do on your own and you need to get assistance. You can hire a coach, a counselor, a therapist, or maybe even just talk with a friend. But it's important that you are able to make closure with that. Understand that there are possibilities. Consider with an open mind the possibility of love. If you're still feeling negative thoughts about love, then you have not made peace with it yet. And that's basically your red flag that you're not ready for a relationship. So when you think about love, if you think about a lot of negative thoughts, you're not ready for a relationship. Be clear. Know what you want in a relationship before seeking out a mate. You can't attract what you don't know that you want. So be clear and identify exactly what it is that you're looking for. Have standards. Just because someone gives you attention doesn't mean you have to settle for anyone. This is a red flag for me as a coach. When I see my clients settling and just, taking in any grasping and any attention that they receive just for someone to show them a little bit of love, it's a red flag for me. It's showing me that you're not comfortable and confident in yourself and who you are, and you're settling for anyone. You need to identify exactly what your standards are and who you want to be with. It doesn't matter that this person wants you do you really actually want that person? That's what you need to think about. Don't settle just because they're paying attention to you. You deserve more than that. Know the values and beliefs that you desire in a partner. What is important that you would do together? What type of hobbies would you like to share? What type of activities would you like to do? What are the desired physical traits that you seek in a partner that you're attracted to? How important is religion to you? Do they want to have a family? Do they have children? What are their hobbies, their interests? These are all things that you're just thinking about, general ideas of what you may want to consider in a mate. Most common traits that are sought in a mate, which I found interesting, that what women are looking for and what men are looking for is a little bit different in the order of priority. So women are looking for, in this specific order, personality, sense of humor, common interests, intelligence, cleanliness, looks, sexiness, getting to know the man through a friend, voice, spirituality, profession, money, talent, and lastly, religion. This was a study conducted by Katia Losell Fury and Paul Morris Siegel. They conducted an additional study on what men are looking for. Same traits, but a different order. It was personality, sense of humor, intelligence, common interests, looks, cleanliness, sexiness, voice, talent, spirituality, money, religion, getting to know the woman through a friend, and finally, profession. So I found it interesting. It's the same things, but just in a slightly different order. After you've compiled this list, and let's just be honest, it could be 3 pages long, of all these great things that you think that you want in a mate, now we need to get to the nitty-gritty. Now we need to eliminate. So you've created this dreamy, amazing, perfect mate, and now we have to get real. After creating that long list, don't expect to get everything on that list. Define your must-haves versus your like-to-haves. Be prepared to know what you will and what you won't settle for, and think about what really matters in the long term. And you ready? Here's the big one. You have to narrow it down to 5 must-haves. Why only 5? Well, must-haves mean that you cannot live without it, will not tolerate, must have this in your life, and if I don't, I will regret it if I don't stand by this. So how do you know if it's a must-have? Some of the common must-haves are religion and spirituality, the stance on family and children, career, personal habits such as smoking and drinking, maybe even a geographic location and desired location. Is this someone that you can plan a life with? Things that shouldn't be must-haves are look, style, money, job. Reason being is they're all temporary, and it can't be a must-have. If you're listing any of these in your must-haves, you need to reevaluate, because if you're selecting this person strictly because of their looks and they have blonde hair and blue eyes, well, what about when their hair falls out and it turns gray? Well, they don't have blue eyes anymore. Of course you need to have physical attraction to someone, but if you're basing your must-haves on blonde hair and blue eyes and you miss someone who's tall, dark, and handsome just because they didn't have the blonde hair, but they had all your other must-haves, you just missed out on a really great person. So yes, you need to have an attraction to someone, but consider what your must-haves are. Because sometimes when you find someone that has all of your must-haves, which isn't easy, your 5 must-haves, you may find that person more attractive because they've met all of your standards. So when you're really strong and secure in what you want and what you believe is important in an ideal mate, then the other things become secondary. So what happens is, after you've gathered your 5 must-haves, everything else on that list, that long 3-page list, that's nice to have, but 5 are must-haves. Make sense? So compile a list, think of everything, create your perfect ideal mate as long as you want. Doesn't matter how many pages this list is. They're all nice to have. And it's good to know, and it can't hurt to identify them, but only 5 are must-haves. But be aware, if you have a pattern or a certain type of person that you're attracted to, and it's not proven to be a good choice, notice if they're on your must-have list and reevaluate. It's important to know your limits. Create a list of what you absolutely do not want and never stray from this. Again, no more than 5. So, if you have 5 things that you will not tolerate, don't want it in your life, want nothing to do with it, those are your 5 must-haves. Yeah, there's some things you prefer not, but 5 are your absolute limits and 5 are your must-haves. So who do you need to be to attract your ideal mate? You've created your ideal mate. What do you think that they are attracted to? Who do you see this person with? Try to visualize an identity of their ideal mate. What are the traits that that person has? What are their values, their beliefs, their personality? Do you see yourself compatible and actively being with this person? Be careful if you're creating an unobtainable dream, because then you're only hiding yourself from true love. So if you've created this character that is in no way compatible with who you are right now, unless you plan on completely reconstructing your identity, then you are most likely not going to be paired with this person. So when you start to make a dream character of this far-fetched plan that is really not, you know, if your must-have is that he needs to live in Beverly Hills, but you've never even left the state and you're in, Connecticut, well, how do you plan on finding this Beverly Hills person? Again, that's something superficial, but I'm just saying as an example. Think about the things that you're putting on this list. Is it something that is even obtainable for you? Is it realistic? Is it going to happen? If it's not something that even aligns with who you are, then you're just creating a storybook fantasy for you to write about and never participate in. Be aware of that. Reevaluate. So now you know what your ideal mate looks like. You know who you need to be to attract that ideal mate. Does it align? Does it make sense? Do you need to shift to bring yourself into the view of this ideal mate? Do you need to do something differently so that you're going to attract this ideal mate? Or do you need to shift who your ideal mate is? The most important thing is that it needs to align. If who you are and who your ideal mate is do not align, something has to shift, something has to change. Once it's aligned, what is possible from this place? We're now going to step into the best version of you. You need to be whole. You need to be complete, and you need to be fulfilled in who you are in your own skin before giving yourself to someone else. So if you are not in love with yourself from the inside out, I would not recommend bringing yourself into a relationship, because you need to be whole first. You can't depend on another person's existence and their sole existence to make you happy. So we're going to find what you need from within. I want you to think about, so far, what has been holding you back up to now for love? So you came to this webinar hoping to discover who you need to be or what you need to do to bring love into your life. So what have you been holding back on? It sounds easy to create a list of who you want your soulmate to be and who you want to be, but we need to get into the nitty-gritty now and really uncover some pain and look within. And this is where it gets challenging, but this is where the most growth is. So look deep within yourself and see if there's a pattern in your past. If you keep seeing the same situation happen over and over again, well, the common thing, unfortunately, is you, and if you're the common denominator, we need to find the shift within you that needs to change. It's not everybody else around you, it's something in you that needs to shift. We're going to start out by acknowledging and forgiving your past for the choices that you've made. So if you've made choices in your past that you're unhappy with, that have been weighing heavy on your mind and on your heart, I want you to forgive yourself and make peace with that and accept that it was only a small portion of your life and that you're ready to move on. There's a lesson that you can learn from within the pain. I want you to find the lesson in your greatest pain to find your greatest growth. So if you're able to say that, from a situation of maybe even abuse, something that is so challenging and difficult to face, and I would never wish it on anyone, but walking away and where you are now, you're stronger. So look at the strength that you've gained in standing on your own 2 feet and who you are today. And be proud of what you came through, that you're a fighter. So instead of seeing it as staying in an abusive relationship that was hurtful, absolutely, it's something that you're going to need therapy or coaching. You need to work through that. But in the end, the answer is that you are strong for who you are and what you came through. And you're here today to talk about it. So I use that as an example. We all have different stories. But find the lesson in the pain and determine how you can grow from that experience. Don't hold on to the story anymore. Don't hold on to what happened to you and replaying it over and over again. Don't pose yourself as a victim because you're not. No matter what the situation was, no matter how bad it was, whether you were cheated on, whether you were abused, whether you were ignored, whether you were alone, whether you've never had love, you're a survivor. Let go of the story that you've been holding on to. If you created a story and held on to the story, whether it be real, false, exaggerated, or telling it like it is, whatever the story was, if it's not benefiting you, let go of the story. Find a new story. Create a more powerful and stronger to bring out the best version of you. Did you leave someone who is cheating on you? Well, did you stay with them maybe for too long and you're living in regret? Instead of holding on to the regret that you stayed with them for too long, what if you told the story as you recognize that this person was not serving you in your best interest and you chose to move on? Instead of saying, I stayed too long and he hurt me and he did this and he did that. No, you chose that he is not going to support you and your dreams or whatever the case may be. But find the more powerful and stronger version and let that live in your heart. Because from that place, when you're saying it with such conviction that you made this decision to move forward, to find a better person for you and step into yourself or whatever the case may be, you're going to feel your energy just shift upward. And I'm not telling you to lie. I'm not telling you to make stuff up. And yes, you have moments that you're going to grieve a bad situation, and you have moments that you're going to want to talk to your friends about it. But it doesn't have to define who you are, and you need to make peace with the story and let go of it. What I've done is I've created a program called The Best Version of You in Love. And what we do is we go ahead and take care of all the most common things that people need to have to develop a healthy relationship, and we really build them. I've taken this from some of the greatest trainers, and it's been amazing. Some leaders, some mentors, and I've also included a pre-launch bonus for anyone who's enrolled in this program. I've compiled tools from my greatest mentors and researchers into one program. If you were to take each of these programs, it could potentially cost you thousands of dollars. But what I did was I chose to keep the price affordable, and I listened to the needs of my audience. With that, you'll have lifetime access because you'll be able to download it whenever you need it. In my course, I include 6 weeks of interactive live support in a private community. 6 powerful tools to step into the version of you to prepare for love. 6 video tutorials and downloadable workbooks. And weekly life-changing course topics, which will include discovering vulnerability and how it heals. It's amazing that when you step into a place of vulnerability and you allow yourself to open up and break down those walls, how healing and powerful it can be, and how much stronger you are when you allow yourself to be vulnerable. We talk about embracing forgiveness, not only forgiving yourself, but forgiving those who hurt you so that you can make your heart whole. We talk about building the communication toolbox. I have an extensive list of communication tools that work wonderfully, not only in a relationship, but also in situations of conflict, in business, in friendships. Really learning to listen to others, to be able to hear their needs, to express yours in a way that they hear it positively, and really understand their emotions and where they're coming from. We talk about understanding masculine and feminine energy, and what that means is not understanding men and women, but understanding the energies that we share. Women and men both have masculine and feminine energy. We explore both of them and how it affects a relationship. And we talk about how it brings balance and when you can recognize when to be in your masculine and when to be in your feminine. I help you discover your personal love language. Being able to identify which language best describes you is going to help you feel more fulfilled in a relationship. Have you ever been in a relationship and your partner was giving you gifts and just showering you with gifts constantly, and they thought that they were just doing such great things, but all you wanted them to do was sit down next to you and hold you? And because they never spent that time with you and held you in their arms, you did not feel loved. It was because their way of expressing love was giving gifts. Your way of receiving love is by physical touch. So you thought this person didn't love you and they were trying to buy you by giving you gifts. But in actuality, that's how they express love, and they didn't know that your need is physical touch. So it's important to know if your love language is affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, or physical touch, and we'll be discussing that. We'll also be discussing what the highest level of your human need is, which drives every decision that you make. It stems from growth, contribution, significance, uncertainty, certainty, love, and connection. So for example, someone who values certainty may be someone who is extremely reliable, very dependable, doesn't take risks, had a long-term steady job, plans everything out, is extremely organized, and very predictable. If they stepped into a little bit of uncertainty, they may enjoy life a little bit more if they start stepping out and trying new things. Someone who values uncertainty may be somebody who likes living on the edge, is a risk taker, maybe enjoys travel. But on the negative side, it could also be someone who doesn't really hold a job or is promiscuous or abuses drugs and alcohol. They need more certainty and more stability in their life. Any of these 6 human needs can have a negative or positive side to it, but knowing the 2 that drive you, and I have a quiz that'll help you understand it, are going to be able to help you understand why you make the decisions that you do. And if you find that you're unhappy with your decisions, it may stem from what human need that you're trying to fulfill, and reprioritizing what your highest need is. What I've done is I've created a pre-launch bonus that's going to last for 72 hours. That's only until February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. I'm launching this program that's worth thousands of dollars for $297. And for the first 3 registrants, I'm giving them a free 30-minute live action call with me at the end of the 6 weeks to help implement the plan. So not only are you going to be saving $100 because of the pre-launch bonus, you're going to be saving $150, which is the value of the call. That's a total of $250 in savings. That's almost 50% off. What you're going to do is register right here. bestversionofyou.instapage.com. This is only going to be live until February 14th, and then the price goes up. So don't miss out on the pre-launch bonus. All the details, the dates, everything are going to be on that page. But I did promise you a giveaway today. So anyone who's live on the call that within the next hour is eligible for a free 30-minute breakthrough session with me personally. I'm going to be closing this out in 1 hour. There's limited spaces on there. So you're going to want to follow the link that's on the screen. That's timetrade.com/book/B as in boy, R as in Robert, B as in boy, V as in Victor, N as in Nancy. So that's timetrade.com/book/BRBVN. That's going to allow you to book a 30-minute session with me, which will be closing out in 1 hour. And again, the link for the program is bestversionofyou.instapage.com. For a limited time only, it's going to be $297. It's a savings of $250. You're going to want to jump on that. We're going to have a live community. You'll have access to download each week. We're going to have 2 live calls. You're going to have a weekly video that you're going to have to implement the materials and to go through it. It's going to be fantastic. So I hope that you got a lot of information out of this. Because this is the re-recorded version, there is no one live. The live version that I had earlier did not record. So you're going to have the quick and unedited, no questions asked version. So anyone who's listening to the replay, you're lucky you got the quicker version. Any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, and I look forward to hearing from you. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you at the next webinar.